Wattson has been given a brand new buff in Apex Legends, and today we're going to talk about why it's so important for you to be paying attention to, and why you will level up your game just by playing Wattson this season. Whether it's ranked, whether it's casual, Wattson is back in a big way, and a small buff has made every little difference to this character. I've played her yesterday. You're going to watch footage of it, and I played her before the patch, and she just feels so good. She just feels like such a fun legend again. So let's get into why. The big buff to Wattson, what was it? Wattson got a change in this season recently with the Nintendo Switch patch that came out March 9th and all the other things that changed with the patch notes. And I'm going to have those for reference so we can talk about all the patch notes changes as well. But the cool thing about what Wattson got was she got a buff to her passive, which allows her to generate shield. Now, this is exactly the same passive that Octane has, but it's for Wattson. What does that mean? What is the value of that, and why does it matter? Well, let's talk about the first element of Wattson's history and why she has been so successful in the meta. A lot of people don't know this. Wattson was brought into Apex Legends as a character to stop third party. Yeah, it's actually true. And you can hear the designers talking about why those perimeter fences, the generator, when you really think about her kit, this is a designer and their goal line attempt to try to stop third partying. Now, Wattson became instantly the meta legend in Season 2, and when I was in Poland casting Apex Legends for the first time on desk, all you saw was every team using Wattson. She dominated the meta for 2 to 3 seasons and has kind of recently fallen out of place. We've seen Caustic come through in high level, we've even seen Revenant pushes, we've seen Crypto dominant, and we've also seen a lot of Bloodhound and Gibraltar mainly surrounded by Wraith this season and the last couple seasons as well. So Wattson has kind of lost her queenship, so to speak, but I think she's about to get it back. Not only is Gibraltar getting nerfed, we're seeing a continual pressure from the devs to try to support legends that slow the pace of the game down and support them in an individual way. So that's where this buff comes into play. She now gains shields whenever she's walking. It is 1 shield per 2 seconds, which means half a shield a second. When you scale that up and you look at, okay, if I want 100 shield, it's going to take me 200 seconds. And if you do some quick math there, it's going to be a little over 3 minutes before you fully generate your entire shield. Now, what's interesting about that element is that you don't need to generate your entire shield in 3 minutes. In a fight, that's not going to really help you. So why is it such a big deal? Let's talk about what it scales with and what it makes Wattson do better, which is her ultimate. As you guys can see here in this clip, fighting with the 30-30 repeater, I'm very, very happy to be staying here and poking people out. And one of the things Wattson has always excelled at, which you'll notice Gibraltar has kind of taken her place, excels at as well, is poking and winning those trades. Why does Wattson win those trades? Because she's gaining her shield back when other people are using their resources. So a bullet for her ends up meaning 2 shield batteries for you. A bullet to her ends up meaning maybe a shield cell, maybe poking her head back and forth a little bit while her generator heals her back up, and then she's fighting again. So when you get to final circle off the team you've been battling against and you run into them, you've got so many more resources than them, you should be able to win that fight. And that is where Wattson really, really excels. So when her naturally generator is coming up, and you call it the interception pylon, it will give Wattson, somewhere around 2 shields per second. Now, it's not an exact number, but let's say that's 2 shields per second. So every 10 seconds, you're getting back 20 shield. The cool thing is now you're going to be getting back 25 shield because it's a 0.5 per second added due to her passive. And to me, that's just the biggest difference. You're talking about filling up a full quarter of your shield. It's a 25% increase in the quickness of the shields that she's generating in those clutch situations where she has her pylon up, where people are shooting at her. She is naturally that much better. That is a huge buff. Even though it may not seem like a big deal, it's a very big buff. And for me, Wattson is kind of like stealing the show here in terms of characters that had a lot of, hype added to them thanks to this patch. We saw Pathfinder yesterday. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. We talk about some cool stuff. There's some cool nade play in there. There's some cool stuff about low profile and the wingman. But in this one, showcasing Wattson, it's really about changing this playstyle back to what it was back in Season 2 and Season 3. And I predict, here's kind of a hot take, that pros will start using Wattson again. I think Wattson is going to jump back into the meta. I think this is going to get people's eyes looking at her a little bit more. I think they're going to realize how powerful it is to still have a Wattson on your team. And I don't know if that's going to be great for the game. The meta of Wattson was a little tough to play. You kind of had to have a Wattson to compete against another team with a Wattson. But what's different? You kind of have to have a Gibraltar to compete against another team with a Gibraltar, right? I mean, so I'm not sure if there's anything really, really different. The other reason that this is so valuable, and I love this passive and I love this change to Wattson specifically, is that when you are having your interception pylon, you have to have a specific situation to take advantage of it. Like, for instance, let's say Octane had his healing, but in order to have that healing passive, he had to just be standing still next to a random block of meds that he hasn't taken. That's his ultimate. Just throw a huge block of meds that you haven't taken yet, like a Moderna vaccine shipment that got left in the warehouse. You put that down, and then you gain health every now and then. Okay, cool, great. But Octane's about moving, right? So they gave it on the move, but that means that no matter what he's doing, any element of movement, any element of fighting, any element of raw, just anything that you're doing in Apex Legends, whether it be looking left, looking right, jumping up and down, looting, you're gaining health, and that is a passive advantage any player takes advantage of, which scales up the value at low levels for Octane to succeed, and also at high levels. The more you increase that number, you will see Octane win more. And it's really a true thing when it comes to balance. And in my years of esports balancing at games like High Res with Smite, at studios like High Res with Smite and with Paladins and with Realm Royale, one of the biggest turnkeys for balance, for getting a character to increase their skill and efficacy in terms of a win rate across the population, is giving them a passive, valuable asset like health that they have nothing to do for. Like, they do not have to do anything to achieve it. If you give a character an increase in the ability to heal, they will win more than every other legend on average, because that is such a valuable stat when you're talking about you win or lose based on how much health you have. And that's in every competitive game that uses that as a metric. You will see that again and again. High skill level things like movement typically will scale with higher level players, because higher level players will be able to use the movement more effectively than anybody at an average level, and they will win more based off of the execution of that high level skill. You guys following me? But anything that is a base level stat, like Lifeline, for instance, is a great example that we've already seen this play out. She used to heal 25% faster than every legend. Although she was never pro meta, they kept nerfing Lifeline. Eventually, they retooled her entire kit. Why? Because she kept winning more than every other legend when she ran into encounters with them. Why? Because she heals faster, which is a base stat that will always make someone who does something like that better in engagements on average. And that is what Wattson finally has. That is not only going to bump her win rate up from a low level, get me, but it's going to encourage people to start playing her at a high level again, because you're now doubling, or, at least you're adding a quarter more, 25% increase to the value that she already had when she was meta. You add the fact that, yes, her Wattson, they've done a couple of reworks with her pylons, with the way she carries ultimate accelerants, but at the end of the day, that just makes it harder to do the thing. It makes it harder to do the thing. It doesn't mean that the best players can't do it still, and to just as good of effectiveness as before. This is a stat all around. Wattson will be played more. You'll see her more. She'll be more effective. She will win more. This is awesome, and that's why it's only half a shield per second. That's why it's such a little amount that she's actually healing, and they have to be very careful about this. I think this is going to stay, and I hope it sticks, because when you're talking about Wattson being able to now get her passive on the move, you're talking about everything that she's doing, every action that she's taking. Instead of having to use a shield cell or a shield battery while she's fighting or running, or she's moving from the zone, or she's running and pouring a heat shield out, everything is just passively generating. She can spend 2 or 3 minutes hiding in that building when everyone else is hiding in the building, getting ready for final circle, and she just gets her shield back. She doesn't have to have a generator. So that character not only has had this team-wide benefit, she now has a benefit whether the team element of the interception pylon is destroyed or not. And to me, this is why Wattson is somebody you need to pay attention to. I'm having a blast playing Wattson right now. I have never seen Wattson more fun in my life, and that's saying something, because I used to play Wattson a lot back in the day. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and as always, never give up, never stop gaming, and I will see you guys next time.